Hey everybody, today I'd like to talk to you for a minute about the Spot X. This is my review of the device after having it for about 2 weeks now. This device has a lot of very nice features, and I'll talk about those in just a second. The two situations I've had an opportunity to use this device were on a bike ride and on a 2-day float. Neither situation was an emergency situation. Both were just testing situations. I wanted to test certain features of the device. Let's talk a minute about what those features are. I'm going to hold it up to the camera here and you can see the menu options available. The first one is the messages. Within there you can send messages, look at your messages, and that sort of thing. Alright, it's just for messages. The messages that you can send are of two sorts. There are the predefined messages, which you would go to the website and you would type them in, and then you would sync the website with the device here, and your messages would be stored on the device if you wanted to use those. The second type of message is the custom message. You have a keyboard here. You can type your message out using the keyboard and you can send that message. I think there's a character limit of about 160, 140, something like Twitter, but that's more than enough really to send the messages that you really need to send. It's not like a cell phone where you can write sentence after sentence after sentence. It's not what this thing is really for. It's designed to simply get crucial chunks of information to other people. That's it. The second thing is the check-in button. If you're in that menu, actually there's not even a menu. You have the controller dial right here and you can control your way around the different menu options. You have this enter or select button in the middle, the little square there. And if you wanted to send in a predefined check-in message, you would scroll over to it and then you'd hit enter, and that's all you would have to do. It's set up so once you enter the and select the check-in menu, it automatically sends a message to whomever you want it to send. You have to predefine the person on the website. That is, you have to go to the website, enter their email address or their phone number. If you don't have any numbers or email addresses in there, the check-in button does you no good. It won't go out to anybody. So you have to use their website and put your predefined messages and your check-in messages in there, sync it with the device, and then you can send them to whomever you need to. But for the check-in, it's just a matter of just selecting it and hitting the enter button, and the message is gone. It takes 2 seconds. It's very, very handy. The other option is the social option. You can actually post little short messages to either your Facebook page or to your Twitter account. It can also give people on your social media location. Not only can you send the message, but on the map that goes with the message, you can also show where you're at. That's kind of nice. Even the elevation, if you wanted to select that as part of your message. The other is the fetch message right here. You can manually go in, hit enter on the dialer, and have it check to see if there's any messages. I have it set to check messages once every, I think, 10 minutes or 30 minutes. But if it's in between there and you want to check the messages, you just select that and hit enter, and it will check the messages and it will tell you how many messages you have. You go back into your message dial, or option I should say, and you go in and look at your messages. Here's the tracking button right here, and you go over to that, you select it, and you press and hold the enter button, I think again for like 3 seconds, and it starts the tracking. Your tracking intervals can be as quick as every 2.5 minutes all the way up to like an hour, maybe even a little longer, I forget, but at least an hour, maybe two. The other option is the navigation option. They just came out with a firmware update, and they say it helped improve the compass navigation feature. Now, I have my own GPS device. I use a compass and all that sort of thing. I would not depend on this device for navigation. It doesn't really. It's not its strong suit. It's not a navigation device. It's a messaging device. But it can work if you need to know general cardinal points, east, west, south, north, all those. It can help you with that. The other is just your systems option, and those you go in there and you can look at your settings and configure them the way you want to. And the last option is right here on the very end. You select that. You can go in, and then you can using the dialer, you can activate the SOS feature through this menu option. If I were ever in a situation, I wouldn't mess with that. I would just pop that cover and use the red SOS button there, press and hold it for 3 seconds. I think that would be more intuitive for me. It has a tracking feature here, which you would hold for 3 seconds. I told you earlier, here you would hold it for 3 seconds. You don't have to. I meant here. You press and hold this for 3 seconds. It will automatically start the tracking, or you can start tracking through here if you wanted to. There's a back button to help you navigate to the previous menus that you have seen. The keypad is small, but I have had very little problem using it. It's been user-friendly. I'm sure there are people who have larger fingers than I who probably would have a little bit of difficulty using this. Now let's talk a little bit about the two situations I used it in. Let's talk about the bike ride. A couple weeks ago when I first got it, set it all up, I put it on my pack and went bike riding with it. I had it set to check the intervals once every 5 minutes and started riding my bike. When I got back and I checked the map, I noticed that the intervals that it recorded were accurate. It did have the time, the proper time of the bike ride, and every 5 minutes it dinged the satellite to show me my location. Okay. Now I could have shared my location on Facebook if I had wanted to, and that sort of thing. That's an option that you can use. But the tracking worked very well, is my point. On the float trip, the first day, the tracking worked pretty well, no problems. I even sent out messages in the Buffalo River area, and the messages all went through. All the posts to Facebook went through, had no problem whatsoever with any of the messages or the check-ins. On this, the tracking for that matter was also good on the first day. On the second day, I didn't activate the tracking until I was on the river. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but the tracking on the second day didn't happen. And I'm still not exactly sure why that was the case. It does say in the user manual not to have the Spot X within 12 inches of another GPS device. Well, it so happens I had my Garmin eTrex 30 right there with it. I completely forgot about having the two devices that close together. So the tracking may not have occurred due to the interference of the eTrex 30 Garmin GPS hand unit. That could have caused the interference with the signaling with the recording. That's just a theory. I don't know. But so far, I'd have to say this device has really given me a lot of peace of mind. I know I can contact people if I have to. I don't have to use this device in conjunction with a cell phone. It has its own cell phone number. You can't talk on it, obviously, but you can message it. And people using iPhones, Androids, whatever, if they have your number, they can message you through here instead of your phone. So that's very, very handy, very nice to have. I just feel a lot better having this out there. And over the past couple of years, I've been backpacking and hiking without such a device, and having this with me, it's just nice to know that you're going to be able to contact somebody if something goes wrong. So I'm glad I bought it. I'm sure there's probably a few other little bugs that have to be worked out. This is the first version, I guess, of the Spot X. Over time, I'm sure they will update the models, Generation 2, Generation 3 Spot X's. They will come out with other firmwares, and I think this device will improve a lot. But right now, I am very pleased with it. Again, I'm only about 3 weeks into it, and I'm pleased. I hope it continues to perform as advertised. The device itself was about $250. They charge another $25 for tax, so all in all, $275. Then you have to decide on what sort of service plan you want for this device. And they have a variety of them on their website. You can go through and check the one or pick the one that you would like to use. I went with the unlimited plan for the first year. I don't want to have to count messages. It gives you a count of how many messages you've used and all that sort of thing. So it does that for you, and you can go to the website and look at that, so it's never a mystery. And I think you can even check the message count on the device itself. I just didn't want to fool with all that. I just wanted to jump in with all of it and just see how it worked all together without having to worry about counting messages and worrying about, oh, am I going to go over, and is it going to cost me 25 cents a message beyond that? Because you can run into those overages if you're not careful. It not only does it count the message that you send, it also counts the incoming messages as well. So you say hello to someone, they say hello back. That's two messages, not just the one you sent. But all in all, I like it. I think they have a winner here. I am anxious to see how well it will perform in the future. I have every confidence that it will perform well. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on how well it does with the tracking, since I had that one issue. That, like I said, may have been just a one-time thing, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that. I know the messaging works, the social media works, the navigation, the compass, it works pretty well. The tracking, like I said, seems to work well, but I'm still not 100% convinced. So check into it and see what you think. The Garmin company has their own. They have the InReach and the InReach Mini, but you have to use cell phones, I think, in conjunction with those. Those devices don't have direct or their own cell phone numbers, so there's a little bit of a workaround with those. The Garmin InReach, the bigger one, has maps that you can use, but I've already got my own my own eTrex 30 for any sort of mapping that I may want to do. This I look at as purely an emergency messaging device, and of course I can use it in non-emergencies. So it's handy, and it seems to be pretty durable. The build quality is solid. It's solid, and you can tell it can take a little bit of punishment out there in nature. So I like it, and I strongly recommend you look into it to see if this is the device for you. I hope this information was helpful, and good luck on whatever you decide.